Modern dating is not just about swipes, texts, and coffee dates. It's a psychological battlefield. Women today are navigating emotions, instincts, and social expectations in ways that science is only beginning to fully decode. According to groundbreaking insights, including studies from Harvard research, female psychology in relationships is more strategic, layered, and adaptive than most men realize. Attraction isn't random. It's influenced by biology, culture, and the subconscious cues we overlook every day. The way a woman tests boundaries, reads signals, or invests emotionally isn't accidental. It's part of deeply wired psychological patterns. In fact, modern dating exposes these instincts more than ever thanks to technology and endless choices. If you've ever been confused about why she pulls closer one day and creates distance the next, there's a science backed explanation. These behaviors aren't just moods, they're survival strategies in the dating game. Understanding this psychology gives men a massive advantage in creating deeper, more meaningful connections. Let's dive into the hidden truths of female psychology in modern dating, backed by real science, not guesswork. 1. Attraction is not random, it's psychological strategy. When a woman feels drawn to a man, it may look spontaneous on the surface, but beneath it is a web of psychology and subconscious decision making. Harvard research highlights that attraction is rarely about just looks or money. It's about a man's ability to signal strength, stability, and emotional intelligence all at once. Women are biologically wired to filter partners through a survival lens, a mechanism that goes back to our ancestors choosing the best protector and provider. Even in today's modern world, where women can build careers and independence, the deep subconscious instincts don't disappear. Instead, they simply adapt to the modern dating landscape. What does this mean for men? It means that every little action, from the way you carry yourself, to how you handle stress, to the energy you bring into a conversation, becomes part of the psychological equation she's running in her head. Confidence, for example, isn't just attractive because it looks cool. It signals that you can handle life's chaos. Humor isn't just funny, it signals intelligence and social awareness. Stability isn't just about having money, it shows you have control over your life, which translates into security for her emotions. These subconscious filters are always at play, even if she herself can't articulate them. Modern dating apps amplify this psychology because now women are exposed to hundreds of potential choices. In such an environment, the brain becomes even more selective. Harvard studies suggest that the female mind develops microtests, subtle cues or challenges she throws at a man, to measure his consistency, confidence, and emotional maturity. That's why sometimes she might seem hot and cold, or why she suddenly pulls away to see if you'll chase. It's not always manipulation, it's psychology. Her subconscious is asking, is he steady? Or will he break under pressure? And here's the kicker. Attraction is not built in grand gestures, but in the tiny moments you think don't matter. The way you react when plans change, the way you listen instead of just waiting to talk, the way you treat the waiter at a restaurant. All of these actions form a pattern that her psychology scans for signs of reliability, dominance, and empathy. Men often assume attraction is luck, but in reality, it's a predictable response to the signals you give off. So the truth is clear. Attraction is strategy, not chance. Women may not consciously plan it, but their psychology is designed to select partners who pass the test of resilience, confidence, and authenticity. If you want to win in modern dating, you need to understand this deeper layer because once you see the pattern, you'll realize that nothing about attraction is random. 2. Emotional safety is more important than physical appearance. Most men believe women are primarily attracted to looks, but modern psychology and Harvard backed studies prove otherwise. Yes, physical appeal may spark initial interest, but it is rarely what sustains attraction. What truly keeps a woman invested is emotional safety, the sense that she can trust you with her feelings, her vulnerability, and her future. In the dating world today, where betrayal, ghosting, and shallow connections are everywhere, emotional safety is a rare and priceless currency. Think about it. In ancient times, survival depended on choosing a partner who could protect against physical threats. Today, the threats are emotional: disrespect, abandonment, manipulation, dishonesty. Women, therefore, are subconsciously drawn to men who provide psychological security. A Harvard study on relationship satisfaction revealed that women consistently rated trust and reliability above physical appearance when it came to long term attraction. This means that the man who can keep his word, stay consistent, and provide emotional support will always stand out more than the one with just a sharp jawline or six pack. Here's the mistake many men make: they overinvest in superficial traits, expensive clothes, flashy cars, perfectly curated Instagram photos, while ignoring the deeper need for emotional grounding. Women may admire those things, but admiration does not equal lasting attraction. What makes her stay is the feeling that she can open up without judgment, share her fears without being mocked, and rely on you when life becomes difficult. That sense of safety is not glamorous, but it is incredibly powerful. Interestingly, this emotional safety isn't about being overly soft or submissive either. Women don't want a man who folds at the first sign of conflict. They want a man who can handle challenges without collapsing. Emotional safety is created when you remain calm under pressure, when you communicate instead of exploding, when you respect her boundaries instead of pushing them. These qualities show her subconscious mind: this man won't destroy me emotionally. And that realization builds a deeper attraction than any physical quality ever could. In modern dating, where choices are endless, emotional safety becomes the differentiator. Looks fade, wealth fluctuates, but a man who can be trusted to protect her heart is irreplaceable. That's why she will choose the man who listens over the man who only flexes, the man who keeps his promises over the man who only entertains, the man who gives stability over the man who only gives excitement. The hidden truth is this: emotional safety is sexier than abs. When a woman feels safe, her attraction doesn't just grow, it multiplies. And in today's chaotic dating landscape, emotional safety isn't just a bonus, it's the foundation of true desire. 3. The power of subtle testing. Why women test. Men. If you've ever wondered why women suddenly pull back, ask tricky questions, or seem to create unnecessary drama, the answer is simple: testing. And no, it's not because she enjoys playing games. Harvard's psychological research points out that these subtle tests are built into female psychology as a way of filtering out weak, inconsistent, or unreliable partners. It's less about cruelty and more about survival. Her subconscious is checking if you're truly the man you present yourself to be. Let's break it down. Women are constantly evaluating consistency. In today's dating world, men can put on a facade, flexing confidence, exaggerating success, or faking emotional maturity. But faking only works for so long. A test is how her subconscious mind cracks the mask. For example, she may take longer to reply just to see if you'll panic. She may bring up a sensitive topic to watch how you react. She might even challenge your opinion just to gauge if you stand firm or crumble under pressure. Each of these scenarios is not random, it's deliberate psychology at work. The irony is, most men fail these tests not because they're unworthy, but because they don't recognize what's happening. They become defensive, insecure, or overreact. The moment you show neediness, jealousy, or lack of composure, the test works against you. On the other hand, the man who stays calm, grounded, and unshaken passes with flying colors. He signals, I'm not desperate. I know my value. I can handle conflict without breaking. And that's exactly what her subconscious is looking for. Harvard's findings suggest that testing is not about manipulation, but about emotional assurance. It's a natural mechanism for women to ensure they're investing in someone dependable. Think of it like quality control. She's not trying to ruin the product. She's making sure it's strong enough to last. In fact, the harsher the dating environment, the more these subconscious filters kick in. With modern dating flooded by casual hookups, ghosting, and emotional games, women have become more protective of their emotions. Testing is simply how they safeguard themselves. Here's the key takeaway: don't fear the test, embrace it. Every test is an opportunity to show strength, maturity, and self-control. If you understand that her challenges are subconscious defenses rather than personal attacks, you'll stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. The man who recognizes the test, stays unshaken, and leads with composure is the man she finds irresistible. At the end of the day, passing her test doesn't just build attraction, it builds trust. And once trust is in place, attraction doesn't just survive, it thrives. 4. The mystery of hot and cold. Why she pulls away. After getting close. One of the most confusing parts of modern dating for men is this. One moment she's laughing at your jokes, texting you first, leaning into your energy, and the next moment she seems distant, distracted, or suddenly too busy. Most men interpret this as rejection, but psychology, and yes, Harvard-backed studies, suggest otherwise. The infamous hot and cold behavior is not just mood swings, it's a psychological defense mechanism. Women pull back after getting close because closeness triggers vulnerability, and vulnerability can feel dangerous in today's unpredictable dating environment. Here's what happens. When a woman begins to feel emotionally attached, her subconscious runs through a series of risk calculations. If I let him in, will he hurt me? Will he stay consistent? Or will he disappear like others? This hesitation isn't a sign that she's lost interest. It's her mind testing the safety of intimacy. Harvard's relationship research has shown that the fear of emotional loss often outweighs the excitement of emotional gain, which is why even strong attraction can be interrupted by sudden withdrawal. The mistake most men make at this stage is chasing harder. When she pulls away, they bombard her with texts, demand reassurance, or try to force her back into closeness. But this only amplifies her fear because it signals insecurity and pressure, two things that crush attraction. The man who thrives in this moment is the one who does the opposite. He remains steady, gives space, and continues being consistent without overreacting. This calm response signals to her psychology. I'm safe. I don't need to smother or control you, I'll still be here. That steadiness reduces her fear and she naturally drifts back closer. It's important to understand that hot and cold behavior is not a conscious game. Most women don't even realize they're doing it. It's rooted in evolutionary psychology, the instinct to protect themselves from potential betrayal. In a world where ghosting, cheating, and emotional games are common, pulling away for a short time is like testing the waters of safety. If you can handle her distance with maturity, you prove yourself different from the men who fail under pressure. So here's the truth. Her distance is not rejection. It's reflection. It's her mind asking, can I trust this man with my emotions? If your response is desperate, you fail the test. But if your response is calm confidence, you win not only her attention, but her deeper respect. And once respect is in place, attraction becomes unstoppable. 5. Communication is attraction. Words shape desire. Most men assume attraction is built only through looks, money, or status, but modern psychology and Harvard-backed findings reveal a different truth. Communication is the hidden engine of attraction. The way you talk, listen, and respond can either pull her closer or push her away. Words, tone, and emotional delivery create psychological triggers that make her feel either connected or disconnected. In fact, studies show that women rank emotional connection through communication as one of the strongest predictors of long-term attraction, often above physical appearance. Think about it. When you speak, you're not just exchanging information, you're signaling your emotional intelligence. The man who listens without interrupting, asks thoughtful questions, and validates her emotions creates a sense of intimacy. This isn't just about being nice, it's about showing depth. Women are subconsciously wired to evaluate whether a man can understand their inner world, not just their outer appearance. A Harvard relationship study emphasized that perceived empathy in communication was a stronger attraction driver than external status markers. In other words, a man who makes her feel heard is more magnetic than a man who only makes her feel impressed. Here's where most men fail. They treat conversations like checklists or interviews. They brag, overshare, or try to prove themselves instead of actually connecting. What they don't realize is that attraction is built in the pauses, the tone, the subtle humor, and the ability to engage her emotions. For example, playful teasing creates chemistry, deep conversations create trust, and active listening creates comfort. Every word either strengthens the bridge between you or burns it down. But communication is not only about talking, it's also about restraint. Sometimes what you don't say speaks louder than what you do. Confidence is reflected in your ability to sit in silence without rushing to fill the void. Mystery is created when you reveal parts of yourself gradually instead of oversharing everything at once. Leadership is shown when you guide the conversation without forcing it. These elements of communication shape the emotional rhythm that women find irresistible. Modern dating amplifies this truth even more because texting, voice notes, and calls dominate the early stages. A poorly worded text, too much availability, or lack of depth can kill attraction instantly. But a man who communicates with wit, clarity, and emotional intelligence stands out in the sea of shallow interactions. The reality is simple. Communication is not just a skill, it's a form of seduction. Words can disarm her defenses, build her trust, and ignite her desire. If you master the art of communicating with empathy, confidence, and charm, you won't just capture her attention, you'll hold it. 6. Consistency over intensity. Why stability? Wins in modern dating. When it comes to attraction, most men believe they need to impress with intensity. Lavish dates, dramatic declarations, or over the top gestures. But Harvard backed research and modern psychology reveal a different truth. It's not intensity that secures her desire, it's consistency. Women are far more drawn to a man who shows steady, reliable behavior than one who dazzles her once and disappears the next day. In fact, inconsistency is one of the fastest ways to destroy attraction because it signals emotional instability and unreliability. Here's why. Human psychology is wired to seek patterns. When a woman begins dating a man, her subconscious is constantly scanning for signals. Is he safe? Is he dependable? Can he be trusted over time? If your behavior swings wildly, affectionate one moment, distant the next, you trigger uncertainty, which sparks insecurity. Harvard studies on long term attraction show that stability is not just a preference, it's a necessity. Women consistently rank emotional consistency higher than passion because passion without stability feels unsafe. This doesn't mean you should be boring or predictable. It means your actions, words, and energy must align in a way that builds trust. If you say you'll call, call. If you promise to meet, show up. If you express care, demonstrate it not just once, but repeatedly over time. These simple consistencies are what build a psychological foundation for deeper attraction. Without them, even the strongest chemistry collapses. Most men sabotage themselves by starting strong. Endless texting, constant attention, lavish attention in the early stages, and then burning out. They create an intensity they can't maintain, and when they inevitably pull back, she feels misled. To her subconscious, this inconsistency screams, he can't sustain what he starts. And once trust is broken, attraction fades. On the flip side, a man who builds steadily, even slowly, creates anticipation and security. His attraction grows not from sudden fireworks, but from the comfort of reliability. Consistency also communicates something deeper, self control. A man who can manage his emotions, regulate his responses, and stay steady under pressure demonstrates strength. Women equate that steadiness with leadership and resilience, qualities that make them feel safe investing emotionally. In a dating world full of men who flake, ghost, or self destruct, consistency is the rare quality that sets you apart. So here's the truth. Stability is the ultimate aphrodisiac. While intensity excites her for a moment, consistency keeps her invested for the long run. If you want her to not just like you, but respect you, don't chase quick sparks, build steady flames. Because in modern dating, the man who shows up every time is the man who always wins. 7. Authentic masculinity, the silent magnet she can't ignore. In the chaos of modern dating, where men are constantly told to be nicer, be more sensitive, or be more alpha, most guys end up confused about what women actually want. The truth, backed by Harvard psychology studies, is that women are not looking for a performance. They're looking for authentic masculinity. This isn't about being a bad boy, nor is it about being overly soft. It's about embodying strength, direction, and integrity without trying too hard to prove it. Authentic masculinity is a silent magnet. It pulls her in without you needing to shout or flex. So, what does authentic masculinity look like? It's the calmness you bring into a room, not the noise. It's the ability to make decisions without hesitation, but also to listen without ego. It's standing firm on your values while respecting hers. Harvard research highlights that women are most attracted to men who balance dominance with empathy. In other words, the man who can protect and lead, but also understand and connect, creates a psychological blend that women find irresistible. This is because he offers both safety and stimulation, the two core needs of attraction. Here's the problem: many men fake masculinity. They confuse arrogance with confidence, control with leadership, or aggression with strength. Women can spot this facade instantly because fake masculinity cracks under pressure. Authentic masculinity, on the other hand, is effortless. You don't have to brag about your accomplishments. Your presence speaks for itself. You don't have to dominate conversations. Your energy already commands respect. This natural balance is what makes a man unforgettable. Modern dating has amplified the need for this authenticity. With endless options and superficial profiles everywhere, women are flooded with men who try to impress with filters, exaggerated lifestyles, or scripted lines. But the man who shows up as real, unshaken, and true to himself stands out. She may admire the guy with flash, but she invests in the man with substance. That's why women often say, there was just something different about him. That something is authentic masculinity. It can't be faked and it can't be copied. The secret is this: authentic masculinity is not about adding, it's about subtracting. Subtract the need for validation, subtract the act of pretending, subtract the insecurity that makes you chase approval. What remains is a man who knows who he is and doesn't apologize for it. That man is magnetic. So here's the truth: authentic masculinity is the final layer of attraction. It's not the loudest, but it's the strongest. And when you embody it, you don't just attract her, you keep her, because she knows she's found a man the world can't easily break. Female psychology in modern dating, the science of desire. When you step back and look at everything we've uncovered, it becomes clear that modern dating is not random. It's psychological strategy in motion. Attraction, connection, and commitment are not accidents of chance. They are the results of deep, science backed patterns that Harvard research has revealed again and again. Women, whether consciously or subconsciously, are navigating these patterns every time they interact with a man. And if you want to succeed in this arena, you have to stop treating dating like a guessing game and start treating it like a skill, one that can be mastered with awareness, patience, and consistency. From the beginning, we learned that attraction is not random. Every signal you give off, your confidence, your presence, your energy, is being read and processed. She's not just attracted to looks, she's attracted to psychological strategy. Then we saw that emotional safety matters more than appearance. The man who provides stability, empathy, and trust will always outweigh the man who only provides shallow excitement. This explains why so many women stay with men who aren't the best looking, but who make them feel secure at their core. We also revealed the mystery behind her tests. They're not games, they're subconscious filters designed to protect her from disappointment and danger. Passing those tests is not about reacting harder, but about staying calm and grounded. That ties into her hot and cold behavior, which isn't rejection, but reflection, a way of checking if you'll stay steady when she needs space. Handle it right, and her respect for you grows deeper. Handle it wrong, and she walks away. Then we explored how communication is attraction. Words aren't just sounds, they're emotional triggers. The man who can listen deeply, respond with empathy, and create rhythm in conversation is always going to rise above the man who only shows off or brags. And we learned that none of this matters without consistency. Intensity excites her for a night, but consistency keeps her for a lifetime. Stability is the rarest currency in modern dating, and it's the ultimate signal of self-control. Finally, everything comes together in authentic masculinity. The silent magnet that draws her in without trying. Not arrogance, not fake dominance, but real presence, direction, and integrity. The man who embodies authentic masculinity doesn't need to chase or prove. He naturally attracts because he knows who he is and he stands firm in that truth. So, what's the lesson here? Modern dating isn't about tricks, hacks, or playing roles. It's about understanding the psychology behind attraction and embodying the qualities that women are biologically and emotionally wired to respond to: confidence, emotional safety, calm under tests, consistency, communication, authentic masculinity. These are the pillars that separate the forgettable from the unforgettable. At the end of the day, women don't want perfection, they want truth. They want a man who understands psychology enough to connect and strong enough to remain himself in a world of masks. If you become that man, modern dating stops being chaos and starts being clarity. Because when you understand female psychology, you stop chasing attraction and start commanding it.